let me go on to the next. My name is Keisha from CRT Insights Technologies and Acumatica Gold Partner and your MC, if you will, for today. And I have with me today Shine, the Regional Channel Manager from Acumatica, to share more a bit about Acumatica later on. Florence, my colleague, who will be doing the live demo of the Acumatica Construction Edition. Also on the call, I have our Sales Director, Dick, and our Functional Specialist, and Torsten and Naddenai from Acumatica. Briefly, these are the topics that we will be touching on today and discussing about. And I'm going to take you through a very brief introduction of our company. So CRT Insights, we were founded in 2006 with a mission to help companies harness their business data into actionable insights. At the heart of everything we do are our three core pillars: care, respect, and trust. Today, we're headquartered in Johor with offices in Singapore and KL. Apart from just providing ERP solutions, we also provide a wide range of other ICT services. Our core strength stems from our team of seasoned experts and their decades of experience in revolutionizing the way businesses function, process data, and optimize workflow. So we're all here today to talk about Industry 4.0 and more specifically Construction 4.0. What does it mean for your business and why are we even talking about it? So this concept is actually not new. In fact, talk about Industry 4.0 had already began pre-COVID, but of course the global pandemic certainly helped to move things along faster. As with other industries and digitalization, technology often moves faster than the market is ready to adopt. So just to get a little bit of a sense of how everybody's doing digitalization, I have one more short poll. Please indulge me. I'm going to launch this in a second. Hang on, give me a sec. That's the wrong one. Yeah. All right. So this is just to get a quick view of the challenges that you may be facing in your organization with digitalization. Okay, so far so good. Everybody has jumped in on the poll. Yes, no, maybe. All right, I don't think any more responses are coming in. I'll close the poll now. Thank you for your response. All right, so I believe most of you will also agree with me that there are enough silos between generic business functions like sales and accounting and etc. But when you add on another design of the built installation operations, then the silos actually tend to deepen. And then information doesn't flow across the business and then the business suffers. Construction companies are falling into the information void with their legacy systems that don't connect. And imagine this, each day you are missing opportunities to grow your business, spending time seeking insights that are already available inside your business data. How many Excel spreadsheets does it take to answer a business question? And how many people must become data experts rather than experts at delivering your services to customers? But now you have an opportunity to close the gaps between people, tools, data, and so you can create timely, actionable insights and thrive in Construction 4.0. And how is that? By sowing the seeds of digital transformation. Modern technology alone is not enough, of course. So what digital transformation is a literal transformation of a business in a strategic, all-encompassing way to upgrade and update its processes, people, and harness technology along the way. This begins at the very core of the business, the management system software. So like any good construction project, a good software must be built on solid foundation. A well thought out structure with flexibility and features that works well with businesses of all kinds, built to support its business processes and accessible to users of all kinds. And Acumatica is that software. Digital transformation is what Acumatica has been doing for over a decade now, bringing enterprise-grade tools to the mid-market at SMB prices. It closes the gap between an owner and his desire for business success. We are the only cloud solution provider that includes CRM, manufacturing, field service, project accounting, and management in one connected application with an open architecture that allows you to connect all your other mission-critical applications. To share more about Acumatica and why it's the choice software for your business, I'm going to pass the control over to Shine. Let me see. Shine, are you able to?
Not yet. It's still showing as grayed out for me. The request control.
Okay. Let's see. Not sure what's going on here. Do you have it open on your side? Do you want me to stop sharing so you can take over?
Maybe you can just move around the slides. It's perfect for me. That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, no worries.
Okay, great. Good morning to everyone on the and thank you for joining the session that is conducted by our partner CRT Insights. Thanks a lot, Kesha, for presenting the first initial session, and looking forward to the remaining part of the for the event as well. Just to introduce myself, my name is Shine Matthew. I'm the regional channel manager for Acumatica. So I manage channel for Acumatica across a few countries. It is Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. I'm here with CRT, who is our partner who is covering both Malaysia and Singapore. And just a reminder, we work 100% through our partners in every country that we are operating in. All right. Thank you, Kesha. The next slide. Now, in terms of Acumatica, when we were founded, our goal has always been about transforming companies in a digital transformation perspective. Now, considering the situation now globally, and ever since last year, the pandemic, this has become a requirement. Without this, we cannot move forward. All companies need to transform digitally. And this is where we come from. Like, our background comes from in such a way that we are built on cloud technology, catered for transforming businesses. Not only that, to connect businesses across within a conglomerate or within an organization, and how we have delivered this as well. Next slide, Keshan. Now, we tend to always talk about features and functions, but for Acumatica, we are always proud to say that we are always being ranked the highest in terms of usability. Why do I say that? The reason is because most of the organizations that we deal with, their biggest concerns and their biggest challenges are always using a solution or an application for their daily operations, but are they happy doing it? Are the users happy coming to work, doing their work, but they're not happy using the solution right now? And for us, we are always happy to say that our customers value our product or our solution. They value the partners who are there, who are implementing Acumatica for them as well. And as you can see in this quadrant here, that we are actually one of the leader when it comes to usability by our customers. Next one. Now, we are an American company, so our head office is in Seattle, Washington. Though we are an American, I like to say we are Swedish American because our owners, our parent company, is based out of Sweden. It is a private equity company. It's one of the biggest private equity companies in the world. It's called EQT, who owns us. And not only that, they also own a sister company of ours, which is IFS, Maybe some of you know them. They're quite a big tier 1 ERP product. So we are both part of the same group, so to speak. In Southeast Asia, we are spread across as well. Like, for example, Thorsten Lepek, who is on the call today, he is based out of Thailand. I live in KL, Malaysia. I have colleagues, Nadanai, who's also on the call. He's in Bangkok. We have people in Vietnam, and pretty soon, and we have also in Sri Lanka as well. So we're quite spread across Southeast Asia, supporting our partners and our customers. Next slide as well. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we work 100% through our channel partners, and this is where CRT comes from. So CRT is a partner in 2 countries. So as you can see here on the slide that's shown right now, we have around 350 plus resellers or partners globally. Now, for us, it's all about having a future-proof platform as well. A lot of companies always ask, like, well, yes, you have features, you have good functionalities, but what about scalability, right? What is the future growth of a company if the solution that you have does not grow along with you? And that is where we come from. Our platform is ready for the future. It is developed and catered for that. And every year we have 2 major releases, which is release 1 in March and release 2 in October, which actually attests to the fact that the number of features and products that is released every year is built on this future-proof platform. Next slide. And also the foundation of this is that anyone should access their solution, an ERP like Acumatica, anywhere, from anywhere, on any device by anyone. And this does not limit you from running our operations. We have seen a lot of cases last year during the pandemic where, well, the pandemic is still going on, and you see a lot of companies out there who face a lot of issues where they could not even go to the office to work, which is still happening in Malaysia as an example. We are on lockdown, and where they have to use their solution to do their daily operations, but their server is sitting in the office and something goes wrong, you can't operate. This is where we come from, where you should not be limited, or you should not be facing a challenge like that anymore, where we are living in a cloud technology kind of environment where you can access your solution from anywhere and on any device. Next one. And in terms of functionality, so this is where we come from, where we have core functions or core products. If you go to the next slide, Kesha, where our core modules is the foundation of our ERP, where we have financial management, inventory, project accounting, customer service management, and field service. So these are the core modules that we have, and everything else that we have are built on top of this. So if you go to the next slide, and from when we started having the core modules in Acumatica, we realized that we are not, we are pretty much the same if you compare with any other ERP there in the market. It is difficult for a customer to understand, or if I come and tell you that you need a solution like this, if you show the core modules, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, right? There's no difference here. But for 6-7 years ago, Acumatica moved towards more of an industry vertical based solutioning, which made more sense, because when a company looks at Acumatica or looks at the solution, if I present construction, yes, as a company, being in a construction industry, you seeing a solution which is catered for your business makes more sense. That means you do not need to think about anything else. The features that are there in this construction edition caters exactly what you need. And you do not need to look for third-party products as well, because everything is part of the same solution. In terms of deployment options, though I love to say, and I love to talk about cloud, public cloud. For us, though we have a lot of customers on SaaS, which is the public cloud option, and this is deployed on AWS. So Acumatica has a global partnership with AWS for our SaaS environment, but customers have the choice still. So some customers are out there who say that they have already invested a lot in the infrastructure internally, so they tend to use Acumatica on their own server. Most likely also might be the case where the company has a corporate tie-up with Microsoft Azure, and maybe it's better for you as an organization to be on Azure, and you can even deploy Acumatica on Azure. So the flexibility is always in your hands, and you have the choice to do that. Next slide. Good thing about Acumatica, and it's the unique factor as well, is that our licensing is not based on users. So a lot of companies always start getting worried, like when you start trying to invest in something like a new ERP or in a solution like this. I have a lot of users as a company. my thinking process will be how cost effective is it? My number of users might increase, right? Business is growing. How does it help me in terms of TCO, total cost of ownership, over the next 5 years? So these are all concerns that come up when you think about investing in a new solution. But in Acumatica's case, it's the best thing is that it's unlimited user licensing. You're not bound by the user limit as such. Not only that, the good thing is that we have what we call a business portal. Again, if it would have been any other ERP, you would need a user license to access third-party users as well to this portal. In Acumatica, since we are not bound by such user limitation, it also allows you to open it up to your business partners or even your customers at the end of the day, and which allows you to expand and scale accordingly as well. Next slide. In terms of support, we love to talk about partners who are the ones who are the front line, so to speak, who implement Acumatica and deploy for a customer. In addition to the support that a partner would give to you, Acumatica also provides a direct support option, which is already a part of your licensing. Once you get Acumatica as a license, it is part of your subscription. That means you don't have to worry too much. That means you're more confident in terms of what support that you get, because you have access to the partner who is the first level, so to speak, and you also have an alternative direct contact to Acumatica support team if you have some questions to ask, you have some how-to information that you need. Acumatica support is ready to help as well. Next slide. For training as well. Now, a lot of companies, a lot of customers I speak to, they always have one worry in addition to cost, is that how receptive would be their users or their staff to using a new software for their business or for the operations. It is a valid concern. A lot of companies are there where the users are not maybe tech savvy, or sometimes they might have difficulty to understand what processes to be done in a system to run their daily operations. It is normal and it happens. In addition to what a partner would do for training during an implementation for a customer or a company, anyone can have access to an online free training that Acumatica provides. It's called the openuni.acumatica.com. You can check it out yourself. In fact, you can go in there and check it out. All the courses of Acumatica are available there. These courses are exactly the same courses that a partner of Acumatica would take. The only difference being that partners can get certifications, whereas on this university, the open one, you don't have it. But the idea here is that the knowledge is there, right? So you do not have too much dependency on a partner for how-to questions or things to do on your own, right? You want to be more self-sustained. The next slide. For us, success is always tied to our customers and our partners. Customers, obviously, definitely, and partners are the ones who are helping us. And we always value your feedback, the customer feedback as well. What we see here on this slide is the net promoter score that you see is plus 33. Now, this is quite a big number for us. The reason why is the net promoter means an existing customer of Acumatica. How likely is that customer to promote Acumatica to another company? And that is a key thing, because when a customer recommends us, it's a good feeling. And for us, that means they are very happy using Acumatica and they want another company to benefit from the same solution. And we are always been ranked high for this number. So customer support, again, as I said earlier, we had dual support. And definitely this leads to satisfaction, because customers like to see that they are getting supported as and when they need. And whenever they have an issue, there is someone to reach out to resolve their problem. And as you can see here, our surveys are always been all on a higher side. As you can see, is 97% is a satisfaction score from the customers. And finally, our VR, Acumatica, is the fastest growing cloud ERP company globally, right? We have been growing very, very high exponentially on a yearly basis like clockwork. And this is one of the reasons why a private equity company called EQT actually acquired us. As you know, private equity thinks only about growth. And when they see those numbers, it makes more sense as well for them. And that is why we are growing so fast. In Asia, especially, we have been growing like clockwork. And as you can see in the next slide, Asia, and that's the final one, where we have around 7,000 plus customers worldwide, which is over a period of like 10 years. That's quite a big jump or leap in terms of the numbers of customers we have got. That's it from my side. That's the end of my slide. And I'll pass it on back to Keisha for the remaining part. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Shine. So I'm sure for those of you who are just getting a first glimpse of Acumatica will find that quite informative. So let's dive a little bit more into the Acumatica Construction Edition. Okay. So whether you're a general contractor, subcontractor, specialty contractor, civil design and engineering firm, home builder, or land developer, you can rely on Acumatica's true cloud construction software to handle your business, including construction financials, job cost accounting, project management, customer relationship management, all on a modern and mobile platform in one cohesive solution. And that's why companies globally have been tapping on the Acumatica system to bring their business to new heights. So I'm just gonna share one video about what a customer is saying about.
I think the audio is not there, Keisha.
Is the audio on? No?
No.
Okay, give me a second. Is it working?
Untitled Construction is a progressive general contracting firm operating out of Southwest Florida. We're taking what we've learned from the world's largest contracting firms and combining it with a boutique style approach.
Speed is critical in construction. Everybody says time is money. I think it's probably one of the most overused terms and underappreciated, but it is so true.
We needed a software that was easy to use, that integrated with all of our other softwares, and Acumatica was the clear choice.
So we use Building Connected for all of our bidding and RFPs, ProWest for putting together our estimates, and then Procore for all of our project management and project-based accounting, and then of course Acumatica for our overall company accounting. And the beauty of all of that is they all integrate. They all talk to each other, so there's no double entry.
Acumatica is very intuitive. Everything you're looking for is placed where it should be. We really enjoy the fact that in the construction module, everything is in one place.
When I go in there and I need to find something, I know where to go and I can find it.
So mobile devices are so ingrained in everything that we do. They're everywhere. It's how we conduct business, and it's how we do things in the job site too. And so we refused to pick any application that we couldn't access from our mobile devices.
I literally can pick up the phone. I can dive as deep as I want into the software. I can approve invoices, time cards. I can dive all the way down to even see the commitments of certain subcontracts.
We love Acumatica unlimited licensing model. We know as we add on more employees, our overhead won't keep growing. And the other thing is Acumatica's support team is excellent. The online support, the ticketing process is very streamlined. They respond quickly. Acumatica has been a very great partner for us.
I think that's how you change the industry, is everybody needs to evolve. And if we can help change the industry, that'd be great.
Acumatica is efficient, integrated, connected. Acumatica is a no-brainer for construction.
Okay, so is everyone doing okay so far? Anyone needs to take a break? No? Okay, so yeah, we've actually kept the best for last. Now I will pass the controls over to Florence to show you a live demo of the system. Sharing my screen. Florence, you may take over.
All right, a very good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are enjoying your lunch at the same time when we are doing this product overview. Okay, So in the product overview, what I'm going to start with is that the agenda, we're going to actually talk about the process of the entire construction module, where in our edition, we have the monitoring of the sales contract, where the revenue, and we also talk about the costs, where the commitments of the costs, where the project management is being managed, and how do we perform the progress claim. And all this comes in the module with detail of each and every one of the module, where consists of where we do a project, how we award it, how when we are awarded, what kind of projects we are talking about, time and material or lump sum or progress claim. We also have project costing, project compliances. So in all this section, we're going to go in every individual of this, a quick preview, so that you have understanding on what do we have to offer. Okay, I'm going to switch to the live screen. All right, now you can see that in my screen now, I'm in the dashboard of a project manager. As a project manager, I would like to know how many active projects do I have. As you can see, we have tiles here on the dashboard here. It's able to tell me what is the current status of all my projects. And at the same time, it also tells me how many tasks I have on hand and how many that I have in overdue. So if I look at this here, I have 4 unprofitable projects. In fact, I could actually list down the projects here. I dip down and then I'll be able to see which projects are the one that I have problem. And these are the one currently income to date is 1,000, expense is more than that. So profit to date is less than the amount that was income. So you can see the project profitability directly from the dashboard screen by clicking into any one of the tiles, and it will bring you to the information directly. So for example, this late project task, I could actually click in and it actually brings me to the task itself, and I'll be able to see all these are the tasks that has been overdue. There is start date and also plan date, and it's not being active yet. So it's active, but it's already overdue. All right. So other than that, in this dashboard itself, I could also add in additional information that I may require from time to time. So for example, in this dashboard, I could actually do a design and add in a widget that I would like to look at. For example, I'm looking at, I would like to add a chart. As you can see, there's many other choices that you have. You can actually add in different charts or table or embed a page of your company portal into the Acumatica portal or Acumatica system too. So now I'm going to add a chart here. I'm going to do a simple chart. I'm talking about project and talking about construction, right? So we have the project module, and we usually have a lot of project issues on site. So I would like to put in my project issues. And in here, I would like to view the chart on the project issues. I would like to look at the information in a chart, pie chart maybe. And I like to see the, say the project status. I would like to look at the status, and I would like to actually look at the project ID. I would like to count number of the projects here. Okay, and then the legends here, I would like to look at the information, and I would like to have this information on the left side of it. So this is very simple configuration. All I need to do is just update this information, and this will also be available in my mobile later. So once I finish this, the chart will be created directly here. All right, so you can see that project issues that is converted into CR means that it's converted to change request, and there's also open status here. So all I need to do is once it's done, I just have to close my design, and you can see that I already have the chart on my dashboard. So this is how intuitive and how easy the user can actually use the system to present information that is important to them. So now if I look at those issues that has been converted to change request, I could actually click on this information. It brings me straight to the data that is that has already got the change request as mentioned here. All right, so you can see that how fast I can actually get data, how easy I can actually get information. I can look at this information, the issue that has been created. earlier, and from the issue itself, I'm able to look at what is the information provided. It actually talk about the paint is not correct, and I can actually add in drawings if there's any drawing logs that are actually in the system. All right, so that is on the overview of the dashboard. As a system administrator, you probably have different people in organization. You can have different dashboard. So earlier you see was a project manager dashboard. Now I'm going to go into a project consultant dashboard. All right, as a project consultant, probably I don't need to know overall of the project. All I need to know which other project has been assigned to me, and then whether I have overdue tasks or not. And it also talks about my billing ratio. So you can actually see whether if they're performing well or not. Okay, so let's go into the actual operation of the contract then. All right, so now if I look at the modules here, or if you look at the side here, I have all my different menus in here. So from the finance to banking to payables and receivables, all these data are integrated to each other. So there's no more silo of information. So let's go into construction directly. Okay, in construction here, I can actually go into my projects. And in the projects here, you can see that I have all records of my projects. I can have different tabs to actually label and filter to the different status of my project. And for now, I'm going to talk about a particular construction project. I'm going to look for a hotel project here. And I go into the hotel project here, you can see that in this project here, I have the summary of the data of the particular project. And this project is actually run by the project manager, Jordan Kinlear. And in the system, it also allows different billing currency because in today's world, you could have you're maybe doing construction, but you're probably building some buildings in different countries also, right? And this project, I have different billing rules also. So you can also have different billing rules in the system where you can actually select the type of billing rules that's suitable for your organization. You can configure your billing rules. I'm going to go in and show you what kind of billing rules that we have currently. All right, so in normal terms, sorry, I'm a bit too fast there. Let me go in again. All right, so in normal construction, there are a lot of contract is actually based on progress billing, but there are also projects that is based on time and material where you actually bill them based on the material and then the time that you spend, the labor that you actually provide to them. And there's also fixed labor and also fixed price. So you can actually have different types of billing rules according to your company's requirement, all right, or according to different projects. So for this particular one, we look at construction progress billing, and at the same time here in the project itself, you can see that I have different tabs in this project. In the top here, you can see that for this project, it is actually for a customer called Equity Group. And in this project now, my current status is my income is 25 million, my actual expenses 20 million, and my margin is 5 million. And automatically it gives you a summary of the entire project's margin, which is 21.8% here. So in our usual construction situation is that when the project billing people does the project billing, the construction side, the contract side, they actually do all the progress billing is one department, and the costing will goes into another department, which is purchasing department, or the QS department that does all the subcontracts, right? And then at the end of the day, finance will actually do the total information of the actual invoicing. Then only they'll be able to come to you with this information. But now with Acumatica Construction Edition, you can actually list down all the tasks that is related to that particular project. From general requirements all the way to site works, it all depends on what are the contract that you have actually awarded for. You can actually design the types of contract that you have and the task that is related. Each one of the tasks, you have a revenue budget. You can assign the budget that you have actually contracted for. You can put in the original budget, and you can see that our system also have what you call potential CO amount here. These are where we actually manage our change order. In Asia here, we call it variation order. So if there is a potential variation order, we can have change order in the system that we can manage. And also once it's approved, then it will only be added into our revised budgeted amount. So I can see here, I have 1.8 million here, and I've got change order of 80,000 here. My revised budget is still at 1.8 because this particular change order has not been approved yet. So there is an approval workflow behind all this contract. So you have all this visibility in one screen. Other than your revenue budget, we also have what we call the cost budget in the system. So if you look at the cost budget, we have this project task, and you see that there is repeating number here. I can actually group this task by the project task. Once it's grouped, it can actually goes back to the actual task that I actually break down in my initial task and my revenue budget. And why do I have this detailed task here is because in general requirements, you may need much more than what we say only a general requirement. You probably have permits, you have project managers which have to do the project planning, and all these are all the costs that's involved in one project in each one of the tasks. All right. So in this itself, with the revenue and the cost budget, right? In the cost, this will give you the balances at the initial project awarded. Immediately, you'll be able to see that at the original budget that you have, you already have a projection of your revenue and your expenses of the 28 million here. So automatically, immediately, you'll be able to see the profitability of this particular project that was awarded before even the actual situation has been, the actual work has been done. All right, so the actual work that has been done, I'm going to show you shortly later when we do the progress claim, right? So before I move on to that, I would like to show you about the compliance in a project that has been awarded for. So in a project that is awarded for, I may have to have a few different compliance. For example, you have performance bond that you have to actually fulfill in the contract. And you have to do insurance, you have to cover a few insurance certificate and all this. Have you actually submitted to the customer, or is there any compliance that you require from your contractors and your suppliers? You can also list down the compliance in this contract here, because it's part and parcel of your contract with your customer. All right. Okay, so next I'm going to go into the commitment part of the project. Okay. So the commitment part here is where we will talk about the commitments, where we talk about the subcontract, the purchase orders for the particular commitments. We have the project compliances for the particular commitments that we already have, and we also have equipment and employees that actually have time costs to our project. Okay, let's look at the commitment tab here. You can see that in my commitment tab here, I have different types of commitments. I got purchases, and I also have subcontracts in the particular commitments that I have. So these are commitments that I already committed to my suppliers. In the cost budget here, if you look at it, you can see that my committed amount here, and you will be able to see that whether it's invoiced or not. So if you look at this particular one here, concrete forming, I have committed invoice amount of 800,000 here. If I look at my commitment details here, when I click on my details here, it actually links me back to that particular subcontract order that I already created. All right, and from here, I can drill down directly to that particular subcontract order that I have issued to my customer, or sorry, to my subcontractor. So the information is all related into one screen itself, and you can drill down directly. And you can see we also have retainage percentage. So besides the award that you have already awarded by your customer, that they retain a percentage from you in your contract, you can also have retainage to your subcon and your purchase vendor. All right. So all these are monitored throughout the entire system. So in this particular one, I'm going to show you here, this subcontract here, they have an order for this particular toilet bath, and it costs 88,000, right? So from here, you can also have compliance of what they have to comply. So you can add in the compliance and say that this particular toilet and bath accessories require certificate. So without the certificate, I can actually block any payment or block any processing of the contract orders, because when they deliver the item to me, I need to have the certificate. Especially on steel materials, they require MIL cert to be attached together. So you can actually attach the files of the MIL cert into the contract also. And you can actually put in the contract of the information in the system also. So as you can see in the contract itself, I can attach files. All right. I close the screens that I'm not using so that we can just go directly into that particular project only. So like I mentioned, from here, I can actually go into the subcontract itself, and I'm able to see the particular subcontract files that is attached to it. On top of it, if each one of the contract, maybe I would like to add in and say these are required brand specification, and say brand must be from Toto, example. Right, you can put additional notes on the system here, and you'll be able to have all these notes in the contract itself. So from the department of your purchaser that has appointed a subcontractor with the materials and installation, they can put these notes inside, and at the site, they'll be able to view this information before they process it. All right, save this and close this information. Okay. Now, the other thing I'd like to show you in terms of the commitment side here is that I also have purchase orders, right? So in the purchase order here, if I go into this, I'm going to go into one that is, if you see the status that I have here, there's closed status and also on hold status. All right, I'm going to go into this one particular one, which is on hold. And why is this on hold? I must have a reason for it, right? So I need to take a look. So this particular subcontract has been on hold for a reason, because my budgeted amount was 424,000, but this current document is 500,000. So the system puts in a control where it allows you to monitor your budget versus the actual commitment that you're going to release to your subcontractors or your vendors. So you can see whether if this amount is valid for you to approve this. If yes, you can proceed to approval of this particular document to unhold this and actually process this accordingly. All right. So you are able to control in terms of budget versus actual commitments. Okay. In the purchase order, it's the same thing. Purchase order, I'll be able to go into each one of the purchase order. If I have any purchase of material, I'll be able to buy material here. This is a 2x4x8 mat that I'm purchasing. And in this particular purchase also, I also have compliance in the requirement here. So rest assured, in terms of the construction module, you have both in the purchase order and also the subcontract modules. Okay, now, other than all this cost that is involved in purchasing from a vendor and also a subcontractor, you will also have, other than the subcontract and material, you also have equipment that is required to be deployed on site. So let's look at the equipment list that we have already assigned to this particular project. So for this project, I have concrete pump that has been assigned to this particular project, and I have set up and tell the system that every time when there's a run rate, when I run this machine, this is the rate that I'm going to cost into this particular project. So when I run my time and expenses for my equipment, so what happens here is that when I go to my equipment time card, when my equipment time card is being updated and saying that for this particular equipment, I've actually run the equipment for time of 4 hours. For example, here, I've run for 4 hours, and these 4 hours, whether it's billable or not, the system, you'll be able to tell the system whether it's billable or not. So some customers award a contract to you and you are able to bill them for machinery, but some is not. So you can actually absorb this cost into your construction costs. All right. So once this is run, this information, the calculation will be updated back into your equipment, where you're in your project costing, you'll be able to see in your project, in your cost budget here, you will be able to realize it in your material, in your equipment here. I'm going to sort this and I'm going to look at equipment alone. This is also one of the features and functions that you have in the system that you can actually go filter within the screen itself. You'll be able to see the information and you'll be able to see the actual transactions that was actually performed. So you can see here in this transaction here, I have the machine of my concrete pump that has run for the number of hours here, and these are the rates that I'm going to bill to the customer, because these are the rates that is being assigned in this particular contract. Okay, so besides my equipment, there are employees in the organization. You deploy project managers, you deploy different employees, supervisors on site. So how do you account this cost into your project? Normally it's by month in your payroll accounting, and then it goes into your payroll as a lump sum cost. So in the system itself, you have what we call timesheet, and each one of the timesheet, each one project manager probably be managing 3 or 4 projects, and you can actually go to each one of them. They can actually go into the project itself and put in the information of the time that they spend for each project. So as mentioned earlier, this project is managed by Kinjaw. And I'm going to look at the records that Jordan Kinlear have. Jordan Kinlear have this timesheet here. And you can see that this timesheet here, how much time they've actually used, and each one of the time that they actually spent on every one of the projects. So you can see here, they define which project they attended to and which project task they attend to. So this Jordan, his task at hotel is actually for project manager, and he spent 5 hours. So this time cost has been taken into the project also, and been cost into the cost as my actual cost. So all these are visible and able to assign the cost accordingly by project. By doing so, your project's profit and loss is much more accurate. Okay, so that I have covered the commitments. If you have any question, just raise in the chat box. We will actually attend to you right after the demo. Okay, so we have actually covered the part where we have covered the commitments part. So let's talk about the project management part. In every project, after we have awarded, we have already committed what are the costs that is involved, and how we're going to realize all the costs that is involved is going to be the actualization of the invoice, right? But before we do that, on the day-to-day basis, we have things like drawing logs that we need to manage. We have daily requests, we've got change order that is happening on the site. So what happens in the system here is that we have change orders. We also have change requests. Well, we have a flow of this particular project, all right? You can start this from the project management side from a project issue, or you can actually start from request for information. Okay, so now, for example, if you look at this one example that I have, for this hotel project, there's a design change required on my second floor. Okay, and second floor, I may want to add in a image, I may want to add in a files, and say there is a paintwork defect there, or you want to put in any other information, you are able to put in any information on this particular request, because this request is going to submit to perhaps the architect or even the project manager for them to look at the situation before they decide what to do next. You can also tell the system whether will this impact the schedule, and if yes, how many days will it impact the schedule. You will also be able to tell the system that whether this will impact the cost. Maybe this will actually impact another 50,000 value of cost, and then will there be a required to change the design or not. So from this request for information, it doesn't mean that it is actually it's been approved yet, because it's only a request for information. So this information can be printed in a document and submitted to the relevant personnel for approval first before it can be processed. All right. So now let's go back to the RFI. So from this RFI itself, once they have given me an answer, perhaps the project manager reckon that yes, I need to convert this into a change request. Then I can actually convert this to a change request, and from a change request, I can actually also convert it to a change order. Okay, so from I'm going to go back to my project, and I'm going to show you where the change request has been created, and this change request that has been created is also linked back to the change into the project. So for example, I'm going to open up this on hold case here, and this particular on hold change request, actually whether it's originated from a project issue. You look at this information, project issue has been raised, and then this project issue, and then whether there is a request for information has been raised, it will be actually linked to each other and be able to present it into the project contract itself. From here, you'll be able to define what are the estimates that to do the well repair and what are the costs involved. Does it impact your revenue? Yes, it impact my revenue. And then whether there's additional detailed description you need to put in, and whether there's any markups that you have already preset and say that for any changes that requires any commitment of cost, we will actually mark up a 10% or 5%. You can preset and in the system and tell the system to actually do this calculation for you. And this change request, you can also go through an approval workflow to say this change request has been approved by the project manager, because project manager has already given the clearance. But is this change request been approved by the customer? You still have to go through the process of your EI, right? Your engineer have to sign for it. Your change order has to be signed by the customer, and also your site condition. So from this change request, you can actually convert it into a change order. And from the particular change order, you can also go to the project itself. In the project itself, any change request that has been changed into a change order is all listed in the project list. Okay, so you can see in this change order here, I have all the different change order that has been in the status here, and it's all on hold. So if it's on hold, it means that it has not been approved yet. So if I go back to my revenue budget and also my cost budget, as you can see here, there's a revenue budget change that may impact this particular change order, right? So you see there's a 44,500 here. If I look at the change order, I can specifically see this is related to task number 9, and this change order will impact this revenue. So if I go to my revenue budget, if I look at my row 09, you can see that there's a potential change order here of 869,400. Okay, so this is the amount that is coming from my change order here. And you can see this is the amount that is actually impacted. All right, once this is being released and been approved, this change order been approved by the engineer and also your customers, then you can actually print out this change order for the approval. Once it's been approved, then you can change the status of this change order to approved, and you'll be able to release this to your revenue budget. Then only they'll be able to do commitments to your contractors and also do the billing accordingly. So currently, because I already set the system to pending approval to go through approval workflow. So you can see here, I'm pending for Maxwell to approve my change order. And if you look at my commitments here, I have an error here because it's telling me my budgeted amount is this amount, the consumption is this amount, and the current available is already 0. So you should not have any additional orders on top of it. So you see that system actually still helps you to monitor even if there's already a change order been released here. Okay, leave here, and that covers the change order part, right? During the day-to-day operation, from request for information, it goes to change request and goes to change order. Other than that, in project management, you also have drawing logs that is required to be logged into the system so that you can actually visualize all the drawings that is attached to it. All departments are able to look into it. So a lot of times these drawings are actually managed by there'll be different drawings being released at the tender stage. You have a set of drawings at the actual construction site. When you're awarded, you have the construction drawing, and at the end of the day, you also have your your shop drawing and many other drawings that is involved. So as you can see here, you can actually have different drawing logs. And for this particular one, as you can see, I have drawing numbers and I also have revision numbers here. So in one particular contract, or you may have a drawing that's been released at the beginning as version 1. And then in version 1, in this drawing here, you can actually attach different drawings inside. You can attach PDF copies and JPEG files and any type of files that you have. You can also put in the URL link to your file server if you have. Okay, and if you have a OneDrive or even Dropbox, you can also integrate that back to your system. And from here itself, I can also email the drawing directly to the person in charge. By doing the email, I can actually attach the drawings into it and send the email to the person in charge so that they can actually work on this particular matter immediately. So I don't have to go scouting around looking for the drawings and then attach it into an email and not able to actually view what's happening to it. So for this, once I already updated here, when I send this email out, what happens here is that in this system itself, it also records the activities that has actually been done in these drawing logs. So you can see once I've updated that I've sent an email, then you can see that I have activity. Then I can view that I've actually sent these drawing logs. I've actually sent an email here. So you can actually see that all the transaction, including what you have transmitted to your customer or even to your architects, emails to them to actually confirm about the drawings, you have all these activities being logged in into the system. Okay. Now, other than that, in the day-to-day operation, you will also submit things like samples. You probably want to submit some samples of the tiles or the lighting materials. You can actually put in your submit the information of the particular thing, and you can also put in the files attached. You can attach the files and you can print this or even email this to your customers in order to have this in the system to monitor what are the things that you already submitted to them. Because a lot of times after you submit the samples and you forgot to bring it back, or some operation needs it, and then you'll be able to track back and see when was the last time and where did you submit it to. Okay, in a lot of situations, the project site have a lot of photos, and these photos are kept everywhere. Some of them keep it in the phone. They actually use WhatsApp to send to each other, and then some of them actually keep it on their own computer. But now you have a log here where you can actually log in all the project logs. You can actually assign the drawings to that particular project. And for example, this photo log that I have for this hotel, I've actually put in this photo and I've actually uploaded this photo for this project, and you'll be able to see the finishes for the lobby carpet for this project lobby. Okay, on the day-to-day project management, what happens is that they will have daily field report. At the end of the month, when you go into a project meeting, you're required to report what's happening, right? So I'm going to go into this one of the daily field report. And in daily, what happens is you need to actually mention who are the people who is on site. So we have the labor and activities, that we have our labor which is on site, and whether there's any change request being created on that particular day. You can also have change order directly by not following the process of the RFI, change request and change order, because this is a definite change order. You can actually start directly from a change order, so you can create a change order directly. You can also indicate in the system who are the subcontractors that has actually came to site on that day. Because a lot of times some contractors says that I was at your site on this day, I've actually given you 10 workers, but actually on the actual site situation, my supervisor has recorded and said that Fire National Company only sent 1 worker on this day. That's the reason why they have delayed the project. Okay, so on a day-to-day basis, you can get your supervisor or your project manager to actually update this information and also put in the date of the arrival time. And by doing this, you'll be able to monitor what is the activities that's happening daily in the operation. If there's project issues, it can be created in the system. Photo logs, you can also assign different photos into the particular project on a daily basis. Add in notes what happened on that day. You can put in different scenarios, or maybe in the morning there's a sudden inspection by the equipment department. HSA has decided to come in to do inspection and all that. You can actually put in the notes here so that you know what happened on a daily basis. Okay, equipment, like I said, you can also put in the equipment. Today, this equipment run how much time? Earlier, remember, we're talking about the equipment timesheet. So you can actually record the time card here on a day-to-day, every day, how many hours has been spent. Weather is also one of the things that we actually gather and also put in the information. So you can actually put in this data inside and then compile this at the end of the day to be your project meeting information. Put in the visitors that you have that I've mentioned earlier. There's an inspector that have come in. I put in the time that they came in and the departure time. All right. So other than that, on a daily basis in your operation, you have employees that also submit claims. For example, on the site, they want to submit a claim, a petty claim. You can also create your expense receipt here and create all the expenses in here for their claim purpose and get this processed through the processing of the expenses claim. So these are also linked to the accounts. Once the accounts has made payment, accounts will receive the expense claim, and then once this is being approved, once it's submit and is approved, then accounts can continue to do the processing of the payment to the staff itself. Okay. Now, as you can see here, we also have approvals in this daily field report because my site supervisor may have actually done this report. Then it requires my project manager to do approval before this report can be endorsed for my usage. So in here, I can print my daily field report and submit this daily field report to my manager. All right, consists of all the information that is required. So in terms of from the operation of your project, where I have my projects, from my contract to my costs, up to my commitments, and up to my daily operation from my change order, change request, all this information are gathered together in one place in my project information here. Okay. Let me stop for a while and let me ask if I'm going too fast here, because I see there's a chat box here and there's information here, and say, let me see, is there a chat? All right, here, James have a question here. If the budgeted amount is 400 kgs, 200 was deployed, but customer only allow 180 kg with the other 20 kg not checked and approved, how is the 20 kg variance handled in the system? So you're saying about the purchase of the material, and then the material inventory that has been delivered is not up to the quantity that has been sent to site, right? So the system
it's not the quantity alone. It's, let's say you deployed 200 kg of cement, and then you have done a lot of work there. But the thing is, they don't check all your stuff immediately. They only do it certain parts here and there. By the time they finish, you close shop, they say, okay, we approve 180 only. The other 20 kg that you have used to do certain piling or whatever, we are not able to check yet. So we cannot approve the 200 for you to claim.
Yes, of course, that is at the progress claim side, right? So based on the progress claim, let's go into the progress claim. I'm going to share my screen on my progress claim here in the revenue budget here, because this current project, just now earlier I mentioned in my summary, this is based on progress claim by percentage. So what happens is that in the revenue budget here, you can see that I actually put in the completion percentage here, and I can put in based on the completion percentage. But if you actually run on time and material, then of course, whatever budgeted quantity in the material side, then when there is actual usage, then it will be taken in accordingly, and that usage of the material will be calculated and populated as part of the percentage in the performance percentage here, and the percentage will be calculated to your revenue budget for you to do the billing in terms of the percentage completion. Okay, so in terms of the operational technical operational variance and all that, we can come back to you on how the operation actually manages the issuance of material. And from the point of purchase, when they do the purchase receiving, we also allow tolerance receiving. So for example, a lot of times concrete come to site, you order 2 tons, but then in actual fact, when they do the deliver, they probably deliver to you 2.1 ton, example, there's slightly more. So you can allow the system to have tolerance setting to allow them to receive about, say, 5% more or less. So system allows you to do that also. Okay, by doing that, you actually allow this process of the operation to be faster, so that they can actually receive the material and process the actual project construction, complete the task. And then this will come back to the system, and then the purchaser will actually do the necessary at the invoicing part with the account side. Okay, now in this screen here, what I'm going to do next is the progress claim. Okay, in the progress claim here, you can see that I have this, I'm just going to put and say that my openings here, I have completed, say, in 60%. All right, now once I put in 60% here, and then here, because I've actually keyed in 100%, and you can see that amount here, pending invoice amount, it actually have a column here to monitor the percentage that I'm actually keying in here. It will reflect the percentage, the amount that I'm going to claim next. And this total amount will be my pending invoice amount that I'm claiming for this particular project at this point of time. So once I've updated the percentage of completion, I'm able to run my project billing. And in my project billing, I've actually indicated in the system that I will need it to run a pro forma invoice first. In the system, I call it pro forma invoice, but in actual fact, in the construction industry, we will call this progress claim report. So in the AIA report here, we can actually submit our certification for payment to the architect first and also to the owner for them to approve my claim before I can invoice them. Because a lot of times when I say it's 100%, but then the site condition, maybe my customer says, no, it's not 100%. They say, even the architect may say, no, it's only 90%. Like James, you're saying that customer do not agree to 100% because they still need a certain test being run. So this one will have to require to change at the later stage. Then only you can process this as an invoice after they have certified your claim, right? So this is how I can run a project billing. And once I've issued a invoice in the project billing here, you can see that in the system, I have a segment here called pro forma invoice. And this pro forma invoice, I have status. It means that I have submitted my claim number 8, but number 8 is on hold because it's not approved yet. And is number 8 require any changes? I can actually go into the pro forma invoice and make the changes before my accounts take it in as my actual invoice. So I have different status from the submission of claim. A lot of times progress claim is being created separately in your Excel forms and all that, but it's not monitored until once it's really certified by the engineer, it comes back, then only goes to account to monitor. So in our system, it allows you to run your project billing, your pro forma invoice, your certificate of claim is actually recorded 300,000 here. And once it's been released, then it will be at your invoicing. So for example, in this claim number 7 here, I've already invoiced the customer. So this invoice will be taken in directly into my accounts. Okay. And every one of the invoice that I have actually processed to submit to my customer, you see that I have retainage. And every one of it, it will also calculate the retainage every single time when I do a progress claim. So manually, a lot of times now in the construction accounting, they have to do this manually. They have to calculate the retainage amount. They have to do their double entry so that they record it correctly in the system. So now the system actually records all the retainage together, and you'll be able to view the total retainage that has been retained by all the projects that you have. And in many projects, retainage can only be claimed after, say, 18 months, some 12 months, some 24 months, depending on your contract. So there are a lot of retainage money out in the market that you need to claim on time, right? So in the system, we also have what we call retainage. As you can see, I'm doing a search here so that I don't have to go to that particular tab to look for it. So you can see here, I'm going to do this retainage. And retainage I have from the point of payables because I have to pay my retainage to my suppliers and subcontractors. I also have retainage in terms of my AR, right? So I'm going to look at the AR point. Okay, so when I click on my AR retainage, I can be able to see all the retainage I have in the organization and what is the amount that is available for me to actually claim. Okay. As you can see in our system, you have this export to Excel function here. As long as you can see this button, you can actually export this data into Excel. All right, just by the click of the button here, you'll be able to export this into Excel and you'll be able to open this data that you've actually extracted in the Excel format. Okay, so you can take this out and then do any other reports that you want, or even you can also link the data into an Excel report and do a data link directly and be able to do reports and charts in your Excel accordingly to how you like to have the visualization of it. Okay, from here itself, I can see that here in totality, I have 300,000 of retainage that is supposed to release back to me. All right, so I can actually do that. And I can actually process this immediately on the spot and create the necessary invoices to the customer also. So I'm going to go back to the construction module again and go to the projects itself again. And I'm going to show you that I have actually processed one of my retainage invoices, because in this hotel project, I have completed certain amount of the jobs, and then the customer allow me to claim a certain percentage of the retainage. So retainage, you can also claim by percent. For example, if you have completed the job, and then you can actually say initially you have 10%, and then of retainage, you can actually have this step down retainage calculation in the system where you say initial is 10%, then upon completion of the project 5%, and then maybe upon CCC, then you have a 2.5% of retainage. Then at the end of the defects liability period, that's where you claim all your retainage amount. So in here, I've actually done a retainage invoice, and you can see that this is retainage document, and it will tell me that this is for retainage invoice. All right, so from here itself, you'll be able to go back to the screen, and you'll be able to see that the retainage invoice itself, you'll be able to see how much retainage balance of each one of the customer also. Sorry, it's loading a bit slow now. Okay, that's in a nutshell. What we are trying to say is that you can actually process retainage, and you'll be able to see all your retainage being processed in the system, and you'll be able to view all the retainage that you already have in the system also. Okay, so from the construction, from the very beginning of the construction, you'll be able to see from the awarded all the way to the commitment, all the way to your actualization. And in the actualization of my revenue, you'll be able to see the actual. Okay, I'm going to go through this again to show you that I have my different fields and different columns to monitor. So you can see my original budget. I got change order, the variation order, whether it's potential or whether it's a confirmed change order. If it's confirmed, then my budgeted change order quantity will be updated, and the budgeted change order value will also be updated. Then my revised budgeted amount will be changed accordingly also. And when I actually build them accordingly, I will have my actual amount that is being built, and it will also based on my retainage amount to actually put in my retained amount for each one of the section here. All right, and at every one of these transactions, I'll be able to view my transaction details and trace back if there's an audit log that required to know more information about what is happening and when did I bill it, at what percentage, at which invoice I have billed the customer. Okay, this also is available in the cost from the original budget to the revised budget, and in the change order, it also monitors the change order, and it also monitors the actual amount that has been billed. Okay, in here, you can also view the transaction of the expenses that has been recorded, the actualized, which has been realized. Okay, so I've covered the part where we talk about contract, commitments, project management, the change order, and the progress claim, where we covered the pro forma invoice, which is a certificate of claim, actual invoice, the retainage, then the project balance. I'm going to cover project balance and the reports now. So if you look at the project balance here, I'll be able to see same thing, original with the potential change order and the budgeted change order. And of course, it will also give me my actual amount here. Okay, you'll be able to give me all these reports here and tell me where is my positioning. That's the reason why we are able to give you the actual margin at this point of time. And in all this, we will be able to run all our reports. So I'm going to go to my reports. A few of my favorite reports that I always use is I would like to see my profit and loss by month, because a lot of times when we come to project, we will not be able to see the project situation on time. We need to wait for project closing, and sometimes when the contracts be issued, we can't even tell whether the accounts has the certificate of claim has been submitted or not. So I would like to look at the current situation. I'm able to run the project P&L by month, and I'm able to see every month how much I have actually built and by which segment has completed. So you can see here from project revenue on the month-on-month basis, I'll be able to view project revenue, my labor expenses, because the data is all there. You are able to compile this information into the reports format that you would like to see. Okay, and you can see I can see my total expenses, and I'm able to see my profit on a month-to-month basis. So for one project, sometimes we have all this situation where on that particular month we may be doing on a loss because we have not invoiced them yet. But then in the system itself, we also have deferred revenue, and we also have forecasted revenue that you can actually make use of to actually do your forecasting of your project P&L. Okay. And from here itself, you can see that our system is reporting. If you have this line in blue color here, and it's actually a link where you can actually link to that particular transaction and see the list of the history of the transaction. So you go into a sub report to show you the actual amount and the listing of the report. So each one of these, you can able to go in directly and drill in the data. Okay. Other than that, I would like to look at my budget versus my actual. So I'm going to choose the project that we saw earlier, that we talked about earlier. So it's hotel. All right, so I'll be able to see my budget, my work in progress. If there's any work in progress, like we mentioned, we have deployed materials to site. There are probably jobs has been done, and then we'll be able to record it as WIP, but it's not being built yet, so it will stay under WIP before it goes into expenses. All right, so you can see this report, and maybe you look at the WIP detail report. Okay. So for this report, you can see there are more details in this because there are contract amounts. I got my estimated cost, and also the commitments that has been projected, and also the actual amount that has been built, and the forecasted amount if we put in our forecast billing and the forecast of the revenue. So we can able to see all this in one screen. So you don't have to go and wait for this information and this information from my surveyor side, this information from my project manager, and this information from my purchaser side, and compile this report. So all they need to do is use Acumatica as one of their platform and update the information accordingly. When they do a purchase, they update the purchase. When they do a subcontractor, they put in the information there, and when they accounts do the invoicing, it will be updating into your report directly. So you'll be able to visualize this immediately on the spot. Okay, now next is that I'm going to show you how I can view all this in my mobile platform. All right, in order to view this in my mobile, I'm going to connect myself into my own phone through TeamViewer so that you can actually view my screen on my phone. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna do a connection to my phone now. So in a short while, you'll be able to see my screen, which is my phone screen. All right, this is my phone screen here, and this is my business app, and I have Acumatica in here. Because I have activated this to recognize this through my fingerprint, so I put in my fingerprint, and you will log in into the system that I have actually put in the data. So rest assured, if you are working from home today and your operation is working off-site, nobody's in the office, everybody can still update their information, whether it's on their mobile or on their computer. All right, so here you can see I have my expense received, I got my expense claim, I got approvals here, and I have the tasks, if I have tasks assigned to the employee. And let me just go to the dashboard first. Earlier, remember we were at the project manager dashboard. And in the project manager dashboard, I'm able to see my active projects. So you see that you can actually see this directly on your mobile. And then this one was created just like at the beginning of our demo, and this is really updated into the mobile screen. So you don't have to do anything. It is really updated, and you'll be able to see this instantly on your screen. Okay, now let's go into one example. I'm going to show you, say, request for information. So request for information, remember just now I have design change here. In here itself, I can actually go use my mobile, and I actually can go to my mobile and actually use my camera on my mobile. And now I'm viewing my computer on my front here. You can take pictures on the site itself and attach this picture onto your mobile and submit this in your request for information to your engineer directly. Okay, so you can see that this interface here actually have all been recorded and being able to track all the changes or information that's related to the particular project, as you can see here, because it's assigned to the beach hotel condo. Okay, so other than that, I'd like to also show you that the change order listing here. You can see the change order, whether it's on hold or whether it's approved. So you know what's the status. So on site, you'll be able to actually confirm what's happening with your operation. Okay. All right. One other things that I'd like to highlight here will be on the let's look into the approvals. Okay, so in the approval side, you may have a few approvals that is pending for you to approve. So if you go into the approval, you can actually go into the screen and you'll be able to see that in approval, you give you the list of the approval listing, and you'll be able to view what are the pending approvals that you need to approve. Okay, here there's expense claim being created by Maxwell, requesting to buy the claim for the air ticket. So I can actually go in and view the information. I can look at the expense detail. I can even look at if they attach the particular claim sheet. For example, the receipt. I'll be able to view the attachment. And then if everything is okay, then I can go into the system. I can tell the system whether to approve it or reject this claim accordingly on the spot using your mobile. So that's how fast and easy you can actually use the system, whether it's from your mobile or even from your screen itself on your computer. So your staff do not have any downtime in terms of putting in the information for the company to view and have visibility of all your projects.